Um, Namaskar and good morning. So let us start with the prompts which we discussed yesterday. This basically from the prompts from the essential prompts category pattern category. So we discussed some of the key prompts from the essential prompt category yesterday. These are all known, as I said earlier also, these prompts are known as the foundation prompts because these are the prompts which you will be using maybe 70 to 80% of the times. This type of prompts, or basically this structure or this structure of prompt patterns, you will be using most of the times. And most of the use cases which you want to either automate or you want to augment using generative AI, they can be that can be done using these type of prompt, these particular prompt patterns. Okay, there may be some subtle difference between. There may not be very big difference in the structure of the prompt patterns, but and also the attributes of the prompt patterns. But when you use it specifically for that purpose, like when you want to be very specific and for a specific audience and be very precise on the content, there you use mostly the RTO pattern. When you want to be more generic and a wider and you have a wider audience, there you may use the TOCD pattern. Like that, you will see that it is totally dependent on the context. And this one word context is so important that now actually prompt engineering, the extension of prompt engineering is becoming context engineering. Prompt engineering itself is now reshaping itself. The more and more agentic AI is coming into play, the more and more agents are becoming more accessible and more implementable, and they are proving to be effective in their purpose. The entire prompt engineering, of course, prompt engineering is the foundation, but there is a new evolving standard which is called context engineering, and this context engineering is being used more in the agentic AI. Okay, where generative AI is being used to build AI agents. Okay, what AI agents are and not, we will discuss that in a different session. In fact, when we discuss, those who are part of the future leader pass, they will say that there is a different one training program specifically for on agentic AI. So there we will be discussing more on agentic AI, and also, of course, we will discuss about context engineering also. But I will give you some whatever context engineering concepts you can use in the when we are using the generative AI in a more in a interactive using the chat interface, like what we are using today right now. Using the chat interface, what can you do about context engineering? I will share that also with you. Okay, during this session itself, I will share that with you so that everybody has got an idea of what context engineering is. Okay, so let me move to the next set of prompts and show you the demo. Then we will move to the next categories of prompts. We will try to cover as many as categories of prompts we can today, and then we can tomorrow we can look into the other areas of implementation of generative AI. Okay, so let's get going with that. But yesterday's the category of prompt patterns what we discussed yesterday, are those clear to everyone? Does everybody understand what is a prompt pattern structure and what are the prompt pattern attributes? These are the two things. And of course, what are the areas where you can effectively use this type of pattern? This is very important. Okay, understanding the structure of the pattern, understanding the attributes of the pattern, and the areas where this particular prompt category will be the most effective. It is not that it may not work in other area. It is all about the effectiveness. And when I say effectiveness, effectiveness is the accuracy and the alignment of the inference with the user's query or the user's prompt. Okay, that is what that is the overall explanation. Anyone has got any questions, any doubts in their mind? Please feel free to ask, because your foundation should be very clear. Your concept should be very clear. If your concepts are clear, you can build anything above it. Any questions, anyone? Okay. Let me move ahead and show you some other prompts. Okay. So we used till the RTO. Yeah, we have done we saw the RTO, right? Perfect. Did we use the perfect? Yeah, we did the perfect pattern also, right? Okay. So now we will start with the persona pattern. Okay. Now persona pattern is actually a very common pattern which is used actually in most of the prompts. Okay. When you write a prompt, generally, typically you write a prompt, na, that imagine you are a bid manager, imagine you are a proposal writer, imagine you are act like a project manager. What you are trying to do is basically what we are trying to do is basically giving the LLM a persona, or telling it like you're basically setting the behavior of the LLM, so that after that instruction, when you after you execute, after the LLM executes that instruction of imagine you are a bid manager, after that it starts its behavior is that like of a bid manager. Okay, that is what we call as the persona setting. Okay, but persona setting and persona prompt pattern is a little different. Okay, the objective is same, the goal is the same, that give it a particular behavior, or basically ground it, basically what you call as the tune it with a specific behavior, tune the LLM with a specific behavior, make it think like a bid manager, make it talk like a bid manager, make it use the jargons or the language of a bid manager. Okay, that is what you are doing by assigning it a persona. But when you create a user, you can also use the persona pattern, basically this persona pattern here, where to identify even the attributes and behavior of a particular persona cat. Okay, like I'm saying is that, like basically when you if you those who know about some about say product management or product or even UI UX design, they you must have heard of this word of this term called persona. Persona is basically a generic definition of a type of personality. Okay, and that of a personality type, or not a type of personality, of a personality type, and that personality type can be of a particular age group, for a particular cultural group, or particular role or anything. So basically when you say that he has the persona of a leader, that means that the leadership, his behavior, his way of talking, or his qualities are that like of a general leader. Okay, so that is basically what a persona is. Now when we have to use a persona, we need to know what are the attributes and behavior of the persona. Okay, now when we know that behavior of the persona, we can then ask the LLM, when we write the prompt for from other use case where we say that what is that role going to be, there we can actually add that persona. Okay, those attributes. So it becomes, so the LLM knows that it is not that I only have to use a generic capability or generic persona of that particular role, but my role also should behave like this. Okay, now that is why we create these personas. So if I say create an ideal, if I have to create the behavior of a bid manager, I will tell the LLM that okay, you are like a bid manager, you are a bid manager, or you act like a bid manager, and these are the capabilities which you have. You are an expert in managing complex RFPs, You effectively use your time and budget. You are expert in planning multiple tasks in parallel, highly focused on the bid management process. So by saying all these things, by adding all these things, what you get is basically the behavior of a bid manager. Okay. Now I will show you this example and you will see the difference between this two. Okay. Let me copy this from here. Now what I will do here is, first I will say, I will give a prompt like analyze the RFP. Okay, I am just giving it a detail like analyze the RFP. Okay, and I am giving it the RFP. Let me give it a RFP. So I give it RFP and I say analyze the RFP. This is with, I am not giving it any persona. I'm just giving it, I am asking that LLM, please analyze this RFP. You don't have to take, you don't have to assume any specific persona or demonstrate any specific behavior. Okay. Now we'll see what is the, what is the quality of the output or the inference. So it is saying that, okay, I am creating a analysis. This is a C-suite focused NFP, assuming these key business drivers and strategy. So it has given an executive summary, scope of deliverables, a key deliverable milestone, evaluation selection criteria, SLAs, contract terms, risk, and this. Okay. So you see, this is a very high level generic type of response it has given. But now the same prompt, I will write the same prompt, and but I will add a persona of a bid manager to it. Okay. So now I add the, let me clear this. Let me start a new context so that it doesn't get biased with the previous context. So let me start a new chat. So now I will give it a persona of a bid manager, and now I will give it the RFP. Now it is saying, see, I have loaded up. Now this is again something which is very smart of the LLMs. What they do is that instead of executing the entire prompt, they ask you specifically what exactly do you want me to do, okay, or you want me to do which of the following you want me to do. Why? Anybody has got any reason that why it is, when I gave it the prompt, first prompt, it executed the same prompt in one go and gave me the analysis. But now here it is asking me, please let me know which of the following would you like me to tackle initially. Any thought, anyone? Why is the LLM behaving like this?
Because of the prompt, we have made it clear that we are a professional, experienced, a bid manager as such, and we wanted to dwell deep into the components of it and clear idea of it. Detailing of the RFP response as client perspective as such.
Now, yeah, you are right, Meghmala, you are right to that, to an extent, but there is a deeper reason behind it. Anyone else can think of it, can imagine. Because if you, yesterday I told you that if you have to get the best out of the LLM, you have to think like the LLM.
Sir, because there are a lot of instructions in one go. It's not only instructions, there is a lot of data which is just the RFP. So it wants the, which will consume a lot of memory and space in execution. So it wants the bid manager or the professional to give specific instructions, which takes less time and uses less memory and output is of good quality.
Exactly. That you're very right, Ankur. Only thing is that it is not only the because what is the currency of the LLM? I talked about that. The what is the currency of the LLM?
Tokens?
Okay.
Yes.
Tokens.
Yeah.
So it is looking at how do I save my tokens, because the more tokens it spends, the more compute power it has to use. Okay, so it doesn't want to use the compute power. It is trying to efficiently use the tokens. Okay, because the more tokens it spends, the the content quality also will also deteriorate. Okay, when you it is like actually when you start using it extensively, you will find that as you are nearing the context window, the entire thing is this is all about the context window, because your context window, you have a limited number of tokens for every context window. Okay, and as you are nearing that number of tokens, consuming that number of tokens in that context window, and you are nearing to the end of the context window, you will see the LLM doing all sort of things. First, it will show you laziness. It will not try to do the thing what you are saying, or give you a very small response, or even try to hallucinate, even hallucinate also. Okay, because it is now running out of the tokens. So to save the tokens, it is optimizing whatever way it can. And this is the same reason here also, that it knows that if the RFP itself is some 157 pages, each page may be having 500 words. Okay, so 157 page into 500, you can calculate the number of tokens there. And tokens is not only the input what you are giving, token is also the output what you are getting. The input, the prompt, and the output, they are all a part of your context window. Okay, so now it is saying that my maybe half of my context window is going to go in one single prompt. How do I save it? So that is why now it is saying, please let me know which one of the following you would want me to tackle initially. Okay, so let me say I want
Sir, so
you.
whether you use the pro version or the free version, this is the limitation that everybody will face, is it?
Only thing is the context window in a pro version is bigger than that of the of the free version.
Okay,
Free version it is all much lesser.
okay, sir. And in the free version, like you loaded the entire RFP, right? So in the free version, will that be possible?
Depends on the size of the RFP. If your
Okay.
RFP of 5 pages, yes, you can load.
Okay. ठीक है, sir.
Okay. So let me let me to start with the compliance and eligibility and follow up. Let me do one thing at a time, so that I can show you uh, the comprehensiveness of the response. Okay. And did you see that behavior? Earlier, it executed the entire thing and gave you the entire analysis report. Now it is behaving like a bid manager. A bid manager would be first doing this, right? Finding out what is the compliance and the eligibility check, finding out what are the key dates and the milestones, finding out evaluation criteria, scoring gaps, scope, then come to the scope and financial, and then the commercial and payment terms. Okay, instead of just generating out the entire report, because they know that okay, if my compliance, a bid manager would know that if I don't meet the compliance requirements and I don't need the eligibility checks, I may not need to go any further. Okay, I will spend, basically I will save, my bid manager will save his effort and time. Okay, whereas any other person, even without knowing that whether they qualify or not, they would go out and build they will spend their entire effort and time in creating the report. After that, getting to know that no, we don't qualify for this. Okay, that is the difference between the different thinking of a bid manager and thinking of of any other role. Okay, and when we gave the persona of a bid manager, it started thinking like the bid manager. Is the concept clear? Are you understanding that how persona can impact the quality of giving a persona, and giving the right persona can impact the quality of the inference, the quality of the response. Got? Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
So now you see how it is. Okay, it is giving me the pre-qualification criteria, company and registration requirement, supporting document it is asking, and that. In the previous one prompt, nothing like this. So it only gave you a very generic response. That is the difference between writing an ad hoc prompt or a basic prompt or an ad hoc prompt, and this is the advantage of writing a prompt using a particular prompt pattern. Okay. Now I can ask it to execute any of these steps, or I can ask it that no, follow all these steps from step 1 to execute task 1 to task 5 and generate a report out of it. Okay. Now this is the point here is the impact or the difference a persona can make. Okay. Now can you think of other areas where you can use a persona in the entire bid and proposal management space, where you can use the persona pattern? Anyone?
Well, sir, on top of my mind, there's a situation where we are presenting to a CXO and building a structure for that meeting particularly. We can instruct it in such a way to carve out a detailed structure and then build that.
Exactly. Abhijit, got it. You got it. And anything else? A very common where a common or basically a very where if you know about a persona and you use a specific persona, your chances of winning or your chances of getting shortlisted will increase. Okay, what Abhijit talked about was presenting it to a CXO. A very good. That is what we call as the personalization. That you are personalizing the content and the presentation for that particular role, for that particular person. Okay, but in general, when you are writing, whom are you writing the proposal for? If you know that, well, who is going to evaluate your proposal? If you know that, if you know about that person or you know about that role which is going to do that, and you can create a persona and use that persona to write your content or evaluate your content, you will be getting a different perspective by itself. Let me show you like this. We will create a evaluator's persona. Now you may say that I don't know who is my evaluator going to be. Yeah, most of the cases you may be right, but you may know the role, that if this is the section or which is going to be evaluated, probably it will be evaluated by a business user. If this is the section, these particular sections may be evaluated by the CIO of the company, or maybe the CIO's office. May not be the CIO, but the CIO's office. Okay, but they will be thinking from the perspective of a CIO or a CTO, because any RFP which comes out belongs to a specific business area. Okay, it may be driven by if it is a If it may be driven by the CFO's office, it may be driven by the CTO. Like if it is an innovation project, probably it may be driven by the CTO's office, a technology innovation process, or it may be driven by the CTO. If it is an operational process, it may be driven by the COO's office. If it is a say suppose a support and maintenance related RFP, it may be driven by the CIO's office. Okay. If it is a transformation, cost centric transformation, or a organizational level transformation, it may be driven by the CEO and the CFO's office. So now you know who are actually going to be and their decision making, their preferences will always be more influential than the others, the procurement, because procurement and others, they are the gatekeepers. Okay, they will be the gatekeepers, and so so what your RFP or what your response should be should be targeted always towards that particular role of that office. And if you, in case, suppose maybe in a government RFP, you may not be knowing, but when you are when it is a commercial RFP and it's an existing customer, or even a customer has asked you to do that, and your salesperson or your business guy has met the customer representatives and they know about that person, they will be knowing it. Now, if you know that person's name even, and if you know that person's role, if you know the role, you can create a generic persona. If you know that person's name, then you can create a more customized or tailored persona, okay, which is befitting to that role. Okay, say suppose, how do you do that? Any idea how you can do that? Oh, sorry, why did I close it? Let me show you something, another prompt. Okay. So I am going to create a evaluator persona. Okay. Now how do I create this evaluator persona? I am supposing that I know the name of the person and the name of the company of the person. I will assume that that persona has got a LinkedIn profile, okay, which will tell me all about that person's what that person role is, which academic organization that comes from, what has been his professional background. Maybe I will be knowing all about that. If I know about that, then I can use that particular profile to create a persona. I can use that persona to create a persona. So first find out that person. Let me go to LinkedIn and say that, okay, suppose I am bidding for a opportunity with say Aditya Birla Group, and I know that the Mr. Priten Bangdiwala he's the he is the president of the Industry 4.0, where I am trying to propose a solution, and he is going to be one of the key evaluators, or he is actually driving, and it is his office which is driving it. So let me search for Mr. Priten Bangdiwala. Yeah, I can find Mr. Priten Bangdiwala here. What I will do is I'll just go and save his resume to a PDF file. Okay, and this I can do. So let me save his profile within. Let me show. Let me save it here. And then what I do, I will create a prompt. I will write a persona prompt like this. Now here, I am not writing that I am a bid manager, I am a proposal manager. What I am saying is that I am telling the LLM that you are a business consulting professional, and you have been meeting a lot of people, top business leaders, and you are an expert in profiling the business leaders. Basically, all the consulting leaders, one of the key skills is profiling of the people. Basically, even before they meet that person, they will create a mental model or a profile of that person, and then they will be actually everything what they will be doing will be basically targeted toward that person only. Okay, that is how they actually build the impact they create the relationship and build the relationship. Okay, so basically I'm saying that you will be you understand their business buyer values. You can analyze their LinkedIn profile of the business leader and identify their social styles. Now, social style, if you remember during Samagam in Mumbai, I don't remember who said this, but that I think Marshall said that that it is very important that you know the buyer, you know the social style of the person with whom you are dealing. Okay, whether this person is a analytical, or this person is amiable, or this person is more focused towards optimization. Because when you know that, you can always personalize your response to that person. Okay, and if he's an analytical person, maybe you can provide him more with the data to support what you are saying. If that person is more amiable sort of person, then maybe you can give him more success stories to meet to connect with him emotionally. Okay, uh, you can go and do some research on the social styles of different type of people. There's a lot of material on what are the different social styles of people, and how their behavior, how their decision making depends on that. Okay, so if you know the social style of a person, if you know the buyer values of that person, possibly you will be able to identify what you can identify how that person will be behaving. Okay, so you can do that. So what you will do is that you will identify the key business values of that organization, or or his particular office, his key preferences. Now, that person may have gone and expressed in some blog, he may have made some comment in some, he may have written some article where he has expressed how he looks at things, how he dreams about what he expects. So from all that, you can do a lot of social research about that persona, and then use those attributes to create the persona, and then use that persona, and then write for that persona. You can in fact do a reverse of it. You can write your proposal content and then make that persona assess your proposal content and say that, okay, how much do you like it, what sections don't you like, what does not, how much trust are you building on it, which areas where you do not trust, what can be done to make build your trust. Okay, you can you can actually run a entire evaluation of your proposal by creating these evaluator personas and running these evaluator persona. But let us first look at the persona, create a persona of a evaluator. Okay, then you, after that, you can do all other things. Okay, actually I have written that also over here, so you will see that also. Okay, oh, let me go here and let me provide the resume of that particular person. Now see that. Seasoned executive, 35 years in IT, and the key buyer values, value creation and ROI. Prioritizes initiatives that deliver measurable return on investment. Example, cost reduction through process automation, revenue upside. Innovation and agility. 6, cutting edge solutions, generative AI 4.0 that enable rapid scalability and sustainability. Favors platform and architecture for exponential growth. Stakeholder and customer centricity. Emphasizes, okay, buyer preferences, data driven proposals. Prefers crisp business cases underpinned by the concrete metrics. Okay, proof of concept focus, values low risk pilots, collaborative partnerships, fair vendors who have strategic co-innovators, thought leadership alignment, vendor assessment criteria. This is the criteria he will be using for assessing. Detailed ROI models, TCO comparisons, payback timelines, technical expertise, demonstrated mastery of IoT, digital. scalability, integration. So decision making style, analytical and structured, relies on quantitative models, dashboards, KPIs to guide charges, collaborative and influential, cross functional CXO, PSRD, risk aware and phased. Okay, speed with control. So social style is driver with adaptive engagement. He likes to drive things. He wants to he would like people who are ready to, who are self motivated, or organizations which are taking initiatives on their own rather than waiting to be told what needs to be done. Okay, guidelines for proposal: lead with the business case, demonstrate with innovation and differentiation, outline a phased delivery plan, don't give a big bang plan. Okay, emphasize the risk and governance, show collaborative culture fit, facilitate quick decision making, provide, give him enough material so that he can make the decisions quick, provide credible references. Outcome is this. Can you imagine this, doing this without having a tool like generative AI? Has anyone done this before? Anyone before?
Yeah,
Yes.
we are required to create power maps. So this is something similar, I would say, like based on the main people who will be evaluating the RFPs. We are always required to create power maps before submission.
So, but you are doing it before submission, right? Or you are doing
As
it
in,
during the capture process?
yeah. So, not exactly. It is somewhere in between. So, once we receive the RFP and we decide that we are going to go for a bid, then the whole process starts. Yeah.
So others, but now you can see that, okay, even if you now for I know the Accenture process of creating power maps. So, but when you are creating the power map, before that, even even before, when you are doing the RFP, when you are basically getting into the capture mode by itself, that is the point. Before, when you are going to meet the person, before that itself you can actually do this sort of, do this mapping. Okay, so of course I know that you guys follow the social styles, you build the power maps, but not in every case, I believe. So no, you have this in your MMS, right, as a part of your MMS, right?
It's a MMS is a different tool altogether. It's more for creating your pricing and stuff. So Power Maps, it's an internal compliance, because when we present to our internal leadership, we are required.
Is it done as a part of your NBM?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know the NBM 2. You don't qualify as NBM 2 if you don't have a power map, right?
It is
Sort of.
basically, yeah.
Sorry, Tanisha. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I'm saying that it is required for the very initial leadership call.
Apart from leadership, it also help us in strategizing during our one of the key activities during the ideate sessions.
Yeah, okay.
It
Yeah,
helps
yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Ideate sessions, we thoroughly do all these mapping and profiling and everything, and even that helps us to in while we draft the resumes of our key resources, we do utilize these kind of profiling, so that it will directly hit to the customers key decision makers, because those are the people very keen on understanding who are they going to work with.
Yeah.
So
But
point is, yes, we do not in the at the very I am not aware of at the initial stage, but yes, during the RFP stage, or maybe at the some level of pre RFP stage as well.
yeah, that's
That's the
the ideal perspective. But then again, now look at it with using a generative AI. Now these are the two people who are talking from Accenture. Okay, but look at any other organization. So Pramod, when you were in Capgemini or before that, where were you using this?
no, actually not at the RFP stage. But yes, Accenture is something which I have also explored, and even I've got an opportunity to do all these things, though I am a proposal manager here.
So, but now look at it like, by the way, are you doing, are you using your internal AI, what do you call it, Amethyst, right?
Amethyst, we do use Copilot as well.
Copilot. So, are you using AI for doing this?
Yes,
Okay.
I
Good.
personally do that
Okay.
in some of the cases. Yeah, I do.
But does your Amethyst have, or your proposal in your, you have that proposal, and you also have that win predictor, right? So does that also use this?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so but maybe for all others, now you can see that how basically AI is actually democratizing. If you know what to do, how AI is actually democratizing it for everyone to do that. Because earlier you may have said that, oh, I don't know those, I may not have the information, I don't know how to do that. But now you do not need even to, you only need to know that, yes, I need to do this. And you can actually, you can do the what Accenture is doing, or maybe what IBM is doing, or what anyone else is doing. Okay. Or maybe you can find out, you can go 2 steps above there and say that, okay, we can do this also. But and what do you think, what impact would it make when you create your proposal with this particular mindset and not responding to a question in the RFP? Not only thinking about responding to the question in the RFP, rather thinking about whom are you writing it for, and even understanding what is the and do you also know that each question in the RFP actually can be categorized into a particular category of question, into a particular category, and there is a specific way of responding to that particular category of question. Now, where that question, it does not mean that it is it is only, has to be only a question. It can be even a section, or the purpose of asking for. So because RFP has got 2 things. Every RFP has got, you can basically categorize the content of a RFP into instructional content and informational content. Okay. Either there's an instruction that you need to do this, or there's an information that you need to know this. Okay. So that instructional content which is there, basically you can actually categorize those instructional content into different category types, into different content types, and that is different question types. And for each different question type, you can have a different style of responding, that so that it directly connects with that question, not like a generic thing. That is the level of hyper personalization what you can do here. Okay, if you know how to do that. So it is, generative AI is only a tool, but you need to know what exactly you need to do so that you can prove your positioning, you can create your positioning better than your competitors. Okay, and build the trust more than anyone else. And that is the only point where basically you will not need to compete on price. You will rather compete on the value what you create. Because for creating the value, you need to know for whom you are writing, and does that value what you are trying to position, or if the value which you are pitching actually makes sense, or for that particular persona. That is the difference what you should be looking at, not looking at, okay, what is the style of writing, or what is the tone of writing what you are doing, writing. Okay, that should be the focus. Nobody cares on your language. Actually, people actually, when you work with the evaluators, you will know what they are specifically looking for. So understand that and write for that purpose, communicate for that purpose. Any questions, anyone? Okay.
This evaluator persona which you suggested is also means kind of very useful for people. Means if you know the person, it's a different ball game altogether. But even if you don't know a person and you're just scanning through the LinkedIn profile, right? So always when if a person, we always say that in the recent Samagam also the point was that RFP is won before the RFP is even released, right? That when you kind of create that impression on the company and kind of make your way towards win more often than not, right? So this also helps in situations when you're not in the race, maybe you're not in the current incumbent stage, you're not an incumbent supplier, but you just through this, at least the proposal which you send will not be generic, it will be very personalized and very hype, maybe not hyper personalized because you don't know the person to the next level, but at least the message which still makes you a chance to be in the top two or three, right?
Yeah, that's exactly why I said that this is something which you need to start even before your capture phase, right? The moment you know get to account, this is basically in your account planning phase. That account, when you start your account planning, that okay, this is the account I want to get in, where you are doing the mapping of the influencers, of the buyers, of the sponsors. That is exactly where you start doing this. Okay. Because when you do this, then you know that okay, you are not going to go and talk about talk anything beyond what is of the interest of that person. And that person, you will have the ears of the person only when you talk of what is his interest, not about what who you. No, nobody gives a hell to who you are, whether you are Accenture or IBM, or a buyer doesn't give a hell to it. The buyer is concerned about what he wants, at what price he wants, at what quality he wants, what risks are involved in that, and how fast he wants. So that is basically what is going in his mind. Now, when you reach that stage and you present it in that sense, then it makes sense for him. Okay. Okay. So this is one thing which you can very easily implement. If you are using a generative AI, you can very easily implement this, and this will drastically change your approach towards proposal writing, the entire strategy, not only the writing. The writing is the last thing to happen. The most important thing is the strategy. What message, how do you propose? How this ideate what Pramod was talking about, that is basically nothing but a strategy to how do you communicate the message, right from your proposal image on your proposal cover to the headings and the key messages what will go into your proposal, right, Pramod?
Sorry,
Okay.
I was on mute. Yeah, of course. And that's the plan of that particular session or particular area.
And they use the design thinking approach to do that.
Yes.
Start with the 5 whys and all, get into
Everything.
abstract lettering.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we have altogether different team. We do align
Yeah.
with them and we work together to get out the messages.
I think you have got certifications in that also, right?
Yes,
Bronze,
we
silver,
have.
and level.
Yeah, we
Silver,
have 4
silver.
level of certification in that.
Yeah. I know. A lot of your managing directors are actually my ex-colleagues, so I know,
Yeah.
I know what happens. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, those sessions are very eye opener.
Yes.
That helps you to think what you are doing. I mean, when I joined Accenture, I was clueless. I was aware all these things happens in the industry, but I have never gotten hands-on experience. But
Yeah.
when I started doing this, when I did my certification and I am deputing myself on those sessions, it's really eye opener. It gives you a out of the box thinking, and it helps you to build yourself as well.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So this was basically the persona pattern. Okay. Now let's get into the other thing, like okay, we
connected to desktop or Blue 7.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me go to the next prompt, basically the prompt contextualization. Okay, prompt contextualization is again where you not only tell the prompt about what you want to execute or what you want to do, but you also provide it with with more specific context. Okay, and when you give it the more specific context, you can see the quality, how the quality of the inference also improves with it. Okay, now let me first give a non-contextualized prompt, and then we'll see. We'll give it a contextualized prompt, and then we'll see the difference of in the both of it. Okay, and these are the prompts you can try. So basically, let me again go and start a new session here. So I'm saying explain DevOps to a non-technical business user. So it gives me some information, strategic benefit, improved variety. Okay. Now this is a standard generic content what you got. Now if I give it a contextualized prompt and I say that, okay, you don't not only explain me the concept of DevOps, but you also explain me why, when, where, what is the DevOps is used. Explain me to me like a 10-year-old old would understand, and use plain English and no technical jargon. Okay, and that is why I want to simplify the content without changing the meaning of without changing the context. Okay, so that is why I am contextualizing it. So let me give it the same prompt, and then we'll compare both the things and see the difference. Okay. So who uses DevOps, for whom is DevOps used? It is saying about two teams working, the builders and the keepers. Okay, now see here, it did not tell what it said as a very generic definition. Okay, it says the builder software development team and the operation team. Here now it is telling it in a way like builders. Who's the builders? That's the dev team. Who are the keepers? They are the operations team. Okay, but anybody who doesn't understand what is a dev and what is the op, he will now understand. Okay, builders, they make the new features. Keepers, they make everything is clear. So totally bringing it down. Okay, what DevOps means, when, where, why. Bottom line, DevOps is for the simply builders and keepers teaming up every step, so now even anybody who has never heard of DevOps can actually understand the concept of DevOps. Okay, so this is a way how you can actually, by giving it a context, that here the context is, my context is not to explain DevOps to a technical person or anybody who is there. I want it to be for a non-technical person, and I want to have him a clear person. So basically, I am giving it the context of it. The more context I provide, the better my content becomes. Okay. Now, this is again another prompt which you can use for lot of times. Basically, from continent to continent, from country to country, the language nuances change. Okay. Now you have written a content for specifically maybe for the Australian region or for the UK region, and now you want to write the same content for the Americas, or for the North American region, or maybe for the Middle East, EMEA region. Okay, now there may be certain words which have been used in that particular content, in that context, which may not be applicable, or colloquial. There are certain colloquial words, that is basically words which are specific to that particular demography or culture. Even within a demography also, there can be different culture or regions where the colloquial word may be applied. Okay, now if you see this particular content, contemporary dandies include now these word dandy is not a very common word. Okay, but in a particular demography or in a particular culture, this word is very common. Okay, this word has got a reference. Now if I have to use the same content in an Indian subcontinent, I don't know what exactly dandies mean here, but I want to use the same content in an Indian subcontinent context, and without changing the meaning. Okay, but I want to replace this word dandies. Okay, or maybe even a lot of many other like the word here, inherent thuggery of black men. Okay, now Thuggery, of course, the word in thug originates from India. So maybe possibly we may use, but again, if you see Indian writing, you may not see the word usage of this word thuggery much. Okay. So basically the language nuances, the nuances of the language. So I'm using saying that I'm using this and I'm giving it the content right here inside. Now these are these symbols which you see, these are known as the markdowns. Okay, markdowns are basically used in prompt engineering to show, to highlight a particular word or particular section. Basically, giving a sort of a signal to the LLM that this is of significance. And the markdowns, there are different types of markdowns. You can see lists, you can see highlighted words, you can see all those things there. So you can when you use write a prompt, you can use those markdown languages. Okay, let me go here and write this prompt here. Okay, act like a content editor, proofread and edit the content. So basically I'm saying that now this is example of a template. Okay, here I have given a placeholder content as a placeholder, and here I have provided the content. Now I can replace this content with anything, it will consider that as the content. Okay, now this is an example of a prompt template. Okay, you will replace the colloquial word specific to a demography with words specific to the Indian subcontinent, or explain the meaning of the word. So either you replace it if you don't find a equivalent word in the Indian language prevalent in the Indian subcontinent, replace it with a explain the meaning of that word. Okay, you will proofread the content for spelling specific to again spelling because of the Z and the S organization or organize, or whether you use Z or whether Z or S, that those sort of nuances. Color, COLOUR or COLOR. Okay, so that those sort of nuances, how do you take care of it? So you can take care of that also. So this is something which you can. Let me run this. Okay. Now you can see. So here contemporary dandy, now this is the content here, the edited content here. Okay, to pay to George Floyd. Now you see here it is giving the word dandy, but it is that is a man who places a particular importance on his appearance, refined manners, and leisurely pursuits. Often performs when others, whether for others or for himself. Okay, now this, when you provide this content to somebody from the Indian subcontinent compared to this particular content here, this, which one will be more readable or understandable? Definitely this one, because it has not only, it has retained the same content, but it has contextualized it for that particular demography, and even those words which were not explained, that it has explained over here. So what it has done, it has clarified the colloquialisms, replaced show of respect to with pay tribute, change just so to in this way for informal phrasing, regional spelling, standardized British style spelling, honored instead of the American honored over here, corrected the punctuation by adding semicolon. Okay, and added definitions and explanations, a parenthetical definition of dandy for clarity, explain this word minstrelsy as a historical theatrical form to add comprehension. So now you can see that even if you do not understand, or even if you have a content from a particular region or a specific domain, or even for a specific industry, for you can actually contextualize it if you give it the right context, and you can contextualize it for your target audience. Without changing the meaning of the content, it can create the new content. Okay, now that is the power of or that is one of the usage of prompt contextualization. Is that clear? Okay, now one thing what you guys need to do. Okay, here you are learning about prompt engineering, prompt patterns and all these things over here. What you need to do is, side by side, build your capability or skill to analyze or identify those business use cases where you can apply this. Okay, because it is not only knowing about how to write a prompt or what are the different prompt patterns. That will not create the value unless and until you implement it. And to implement it, you need to understand which are the can AI be applied to everything, every use case or business? No, not necessarily. In some cases, it may be used to automate. In some cases, it may be used to augment. In some cases, it may be used even to transform. But who decides that? It is you. That whether generative AI will be helpful for me in this particular case. So the next assignment or the assignment which you have today is going to be basically with that. Okay. And I will explain you that assignment. Okay. That will help you in building that mindset or that particular way of looking at things. What you need to change is basically your way of thinking, your way of looking at the things. Okay. And definitely when you know that, when you build that approach, you will be able to use the better, because when you know the problem, you can find the solution more easily. The biggest problem is that we don't know the problem itself and what type of problem it is and what are the reasons of the problem. But when you know how to identify that problem, know the root cause of the problem, then it becomes easier for you to solve the problem. Okay. Definitely, we will be talking more about it in our future leader skills course, but even here also you need to have that particular approach. Okay. Let's take a 5-minute break here and we'll come back. But before that, these prompts, are they clear? How you will be actually, are you getting those ideas in your mind that how you can use these prompts within your at your work? Hello.
Yes,
Yep,
yes, sir.
yep, yes.
Definitely. Yeah.
And the value additions, right, in terms of our output, right? What we give, what we provide, right?
Good. Because that only this is going to be helpful, or this is going to your certificate is meaningless unless and until you can use this and generate anything, generate a value out of it.
Abhijit, just one question.
Yeah.
All these prompt patterns which we are learning, right? I know that we have all observed that most organizations are Copilot, and there is an issue, right, in terms of the output which it gives as compared to a Chat GPT license version, everything. So all these patterns which we are learning, even if we use that pattern and kind of put that prompts in Copilot, will we, and with this RFP and everything, right? Will we load the RFP and everything, because that's a licensed version of the company which we have, right? And we can't necessarily take this out. Means if you want to check these patterns and do it in our own system, we can't take the RFPs in our own system and do it, right? So will this all pattern also work with Copilot, even with the restrictions and limitations?
Yeah, it will work. Only thing is that Copilot will break down. Copilot will go down because it doesn't have that token size. It doesn't have that sort of it will restrict you. It will you can try it out. You can try it out, but most of the cases I have seen, Copilot breaks down. It fails badly. But you can always try. You can. One thing I can suggest. Samir, is that, like, I do the prompt like if you see my prompt go into 10 lines, 20 lines, okay, 30 lines. I'll write an essay as a prompt. People tell me that you're not writing a prompt, you're writing an essay. Okay. So you can break it down. Instead of doing that at one go, you can break it down into steps and take that one step at a time. Okay. In that case, what will happen is that you will be limiting the tokens in that particular context and then take the output of it. Only thing is that you have to do it multiple number of times. Okay. So you can break it down and execute one step at a time, or maybe 2 steps at a time, use the output of it into the input to the next prompt and do it like that. But the concept of the prompt or the way the prompt is written will remain. There's nothing, because it is generic.
Okay.
Okay. And somebody can please stop using these annotations. You will get all these prompts, whatever prompts, they are going to be there in the library. You don't have to copy anything from here.
Abhijit, one more question, Deepshika this side.
Yeah, Deepshika.
So you explained so today's session is well, I understood well, and thank you so that. But for first PUCD pattern and the RTO pattern, which you explained yesterday, can you suggest the difference where we use which out of these two?
I actually I did
So
it
for
today.
today I understood the differences like persona and
No. Even RTO and TOCD, today morning,
Yeah.
I think maybe you have joined late, but
Yeah,
I
I
will just
joined
repeat.
5-10 minutes late
Yeah,
today.
yeah. So basically, TOCD you will use more in a generic case, okay, where you do not where you do not have too much of context, where you do not have too much of context, but you know what you need to do. You know the task, you know the objective, you know that. There you will use TOCD. Okay, it is more in a generic case. RTAO, where you know, where it is where you are very focused to a particular role, that you want it to be done like this only, like you want it to be done like a bid manager, or you want to do it like a proposal manager or a project manager. Okay, where you know where you what you in a TOCD, you are only giving it a task. You are not telling who is going to execute the task. Like we saw the example, right? When I gave a example that analyze the RFP, I didn't give it a role. I said that, okay, analyze the RFP. It assumed that, okay, maybe it is any business user wants to analyze the RFP, so I will analyze the RFP in that way. But when the moment I said it, okay, you become a bid manager and do it like that, it became, it not only became very conscious about how it has to execute the task, but it also, the output itself was very precise. So when you require a very precise and targeted content, and you know for whom you are doing that, there you will use a RTO. Okay, but it is not, does not mean that if you use the RTO, if you use a TOCD for doing that particular task which you are selecting RTO, it will not work. It will work, but you will not get that particular quality of the inference. The inference quality, the accuracy will differ, and even the even what depth you want to go. If you want to go into depth, you will use a RTO, because you know what role it is, what task it is. Okay, got it?
Yeah. Okay.
Anyone else? Any questions? Okay, we'll come back at, what's the time? Fine, we'll come back at 10:15. Okay, now let's move into the next set of patterns. Basically, the reversal pattern. Now, this is a very interesting way. We are actually this patterns, this category of patterns. Typically, right now, what we saw till now, with that, we are asking the question to the AI platform, GenAI, and the GenAI is responding us back with whatever info, and the information it is providing is based on the user, what we call as the user query. The prompt in general is known as the user query. Based on the user query, the GenAI responds. Okay, what happens in the reverse pattern is basically you change the interaction, you alter the interaction, or rather you reverse the interaction. Okay, so now you make the AI ask you some clarifying questions, and then you provide the answers to those clarifying questions, and then AI understands the context better, and then based on that, AI gives you the response. Okay, so or the other way of it is basically you take something which is actually working and try to understand why it is working and why something is not working. Okay, so basically that is what we call as the reverse prompting. So you can have a reverse interaction, or else you have a reverse prompting also. Okay, so these are the two things, okay, which we have, and let us see how it works. So, and why this is why reverse interaction is helpful? Because many a times we ourselves don't know the context, because our understanding of the context is limited to our cognitive intelligence. Okay, whatever I know, whatever my experience is, only I can ask questions only related to with my experience, right? Now, but does that mean that there can be not be any other context or any other questions? No, there can be many. It is only because I am limited only by my cognitive bias or my cognitive experience. So, what should I do? I should ask somebody who has been trained with all the knowledge available on the internet and all the books and others, that is there anything else which I can ask, and based on that knowledge base or based on that I create those other contexts also which I do not know. Okay, now that is because as as you all say that the to solve a problem, the first thing what you need to know and understand is to ask the right questions. Asking the right questions, and of course the quality of your questions reflects your, like, why don't people ask questions? Have you ever thought of it? The psychology behind not asking questions. The psychology behind not asking questions is not that people know everything. It is the fear of getting judged, because the quality of your questions tells about you or about anyone. I mean, the quality they may show that, oh, he is the ignorant, he is ignorant about it, he doesn't know, or maybe he knows a little about it, or maybe he knows too much about it, because the question he's asking is of so much of depth, has so much depth. So, and that is one of the reasons, like, people don't ask questions. So when people don't ask questions, it means that the person himself is in doubt that whether doesn't have a knowledge of that particular subject or that particular domain, and doesn't want to get judged, and that's the reason why they are not asking the question. But people who come out and ask questions, they are like, well, they are people who are open to learn, that yes, this person is open to learn, and that's the reason he is coming out and asking question without having the fear of getting judged. And actually, in a way, they are helping the others also, because those who are not asking questions are having that, because of that fear of getting judged, they are also not knowing that, okay, maybe Samir has asked the question, so I now know what it is. So that is the reason. So you need to actually, but with now here with generative AI, that fear of getting judged is now going away, because you are asking it in personal, and nobody is seeing what questions you are asking it. Okay, now when you ask it that question, or if you make generative AI ask you that question, a question, and you give it the answer, you also know that this is also is also a dimension of the context. Context also has got multiple dimensions. Okay, every content has got multiple dimensions. So you are reversing the interaction pattern. Okay, so that is the reverse interaction pattern, and we'll see example. Reverse prompting is basically a reverse engineering technique. Okay, where there is a predefined output, you have got a predefined output, and you want the AI to give you a prompt to generate a similar type of output. So there you can do the reverse prompting, and let me show you the examples of both of these. Okay. Okay, we create a new prompt. Okay. Okay, this is the third prompt. You can reuse that. Did I use? I didn't use a reverse prompt example here. Okay. Okay, let me write a prompt here. Let me do it impromptu. Okay. Now I will ask the prompt. I will ask the LMS to help me say analyze a RFP, but I don't know how to analyze the RFP. Okay. I do not know how to analyze the RFP, but I have to analyze the RFP, and I have to analyze the RFP to identify three factors: the winnability factor, the deliverability factor, and the feasibility factor. Okay, the three factors which we talked about in Samagam. Okay, and these are basically the most common terms on which we work. So let me write a prompt here. I will not write the prompt here because I get distracted here. So let me write the prompt somewhere here.
Abhishek, we can see only the PPT slide. You're writing
Oh.
something. Yeah.
Oh. Okay, let me share the screen first. Where's the share button here? Check. Can you see it now? Is the ChatGPT screen
Yes, it
visible?
is visible.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So let me go to the notepad and write this prompt here. So what I will do is I will say that, okay, I want to analyze the RFP, but I don't know what questions I should need to ask the RFP. So Mr. ChatGPT, please tell me, please ask me questions for this particular purpose to accomplish this particular task. And once you have all the data with you, then you write the prompt. Okay, then you do the analysis. Okay. So let me say, let me start by giving it a persona. Let imagine you are an expert bid analyst. I am trying to I want you to. I'm writing in a very conversational style so that you know that this is the how the thinking is happening. Okay, I want you to help me analyze analyze a RFP to decide if the RF if the opportunity to decide if we let me be more specific, if we should bid for the RFP. If you should bid for the RFP, help me analyze. And then I will tell it that now you will ask me the question. You will ask me questions related to the task I need to accomplish. I need to accomplish. Okay. Okay. Now here I have to also give it a instruction that it will go on continuously asking me. So I am going to give it a constraint also. You will ask me one question at a time. You will limit your questions to maximum 3 questions. Okay. I don't want to end up giving an interview, you will limit your question to maximum 3 questions. Okay. Once you have enough information, you will analyze the RFP. You will analyze the RFP and recommend if we should bid for the RFP. You will explain your recommendation, because I want to know also that why you are saying so. Your recommendations with the rationale behind your recommendation. Fair enough? Can you understand what is the scenario and what I am trying to do here? I am assuming that I do not know how to do a RFP analysis, but I am telling the LLM that. But you assume that you are a bid analyst. Of course, you need to analyze. You need to, because this I am bidding for this RFP, so you need to understand about me also, like what is my company's capability and what all things. You can ask me those questions. You can ask me only 3 questions at a time. You will ask me 1 question at a time, and you will limit yourself to 3. So this is the constraint. So these are the constraints I have added here. Then once you have enough information, you will analyze the RFP. So now you will take the answers from me, and based on that you will analyze the RFP and then recommend me your recommendation. But when you recommend me, you will also give me a reason, the rationale behind your recommendation. Okay, simple. So basically, this is one prompt which I have written here. Now I will go and execute this prompt. And I think this should also give you a idea of how to think when you are writing a prompt. Okay, this is how you basically create, because what I am trying to do is I am actually executing. You see, I am executing one line at a time. One line at a time, because by that I am actually running this prompt in my brain. And I'm saying that, okay, if I am to do this, I know that you will ask me question related to the task I need to accomplish. I know that if I tell it that you need to ask me questions, it will ask me 100 questions or 10, 20, 20, 30 questions, or enough number. But I want, and it will ask me all the questions at one time in one dump. So I'm putting the constraint over here. You will ask me 1 question at a time. Then also I know that you will ask me 30 questions. So instead I said, no 30 questions, boss. You will ask me only 3 questions. So what I am doing is I am executing that one statement in my head, and then I am seeing, okay, what can be the possibility there, and then I am trying to write the next statement like that. This is actually the way you should always write. Don't just simply get into the chat window and start typing your prompt. Sit separately. If this is I am typing it on a notepad, I would, when it is a complex prompt, I would even go and prepare first a mind map, write it on a notebook, and then write the prompt. Writing the prompt is the last thing. Thinking about what the prompt has to do, and that is the way you can actually build your mental muscle, or your mental model will start working like a LLM. Okay, now let me take this. And that is the reason I can confidently say that give me the most complex use cases, and I will write a prompt for it. And I can write a prompt for it. Or at least I will be able to tell that how much it will, how effective this prompt will be. Okay. So let me add the RFP. Okay, see, since I have asked it to ask me only 3 questions, how it is formulating the question. It is asking me everything related to the end-to-end ERP SSL, including the number of projects, their approximate value, where question. It would have asked me 1 question at a time, but now what it is doing, it is merging everything because it knows that these are the information it requires. Okay, can you outline your team's experience end-to-end ERP, especially for government, including the number experience? I will give it the response like this. Experience, yes. What is the other thing? Is it number of projects? Number of projects, say 10. Then approximate value, approximate val, say $500, $50K. Your role, okay, I will say system integrator. What budget or total contract value does the RFP specify? How does that compare with your typical? So it is saying that, okay, your organization's average size is 50K, but does the organization, your customer, have a budget of 50K? Okay. I may say compare that with your typical 50K comparator, higher. Higher than 50K. That is I am saying that the customer's budget is higher than 50K. So it is in my range. Okay. Because I don't want to say no. If I say 30K, then probably it will give me another suggestion. 50K higher than 50K. Six months. Does your key milestones or go live date? I don't want to give it the date, but I say team have available capacity. Yes. Internal to meet those deadlines. Meet deadline. Not sure. Now I have enough info now, and based on that, now I am getting. Okay, based on your core strength of 10 ERP integrations at 50K each and the RFP requirements, a full-scale mission-critical government multi-year SLA, we do not recommend pursuing this opportunity as a sole bidder. The scope, timeline, and risk profile exceed your current engagement costs. Now, why it is saying so? Because it is saying that the scope and complexity of the ERP is there. Mandatory 1-year warranty plus 2 years of operations monthly. Timeline pressure. Go live by month 7. Design and development of this. System stabilization must conclude by this. Financial exposure. While the budget exceeds 50K, the RFP foresees significant value like 200K and 500K with invoice tied to milestone sign-offs and the potential interest on delayed payments. Okay. And it is also giving me all the sections from where the RFP, it is picking up that. Okay. Liability capped at 110% of the contract value. Indeterminate budgets increase the financial risk. So you saw it took the inputs from me, and based on my inputs, it acted as a bid manager and analyzed the opportunity, and it is telling me that don't go for this. So instead of I analyzing the RFP using my experience, I used more experience of the global experience or whatever experience of the LLM to do that part. Okay. Decline to bid as a sole. If strategic growth implies the priority, then do a partnering or subcontracting or requesting for clarification on budget ceilings and resource expectations before deciding. Okay. So you see how you can actually use the LLM also as a strategic guide for you. Here I am using as a LLM chat GPT as a consultant for me, that I want to do this, please tell me as a consultant, based on your global knowledge, based on your entire knowledge base which you have, based on that you tell me. So it is giving me that. Okay. Now I have also got a chance of verifying this. So I can also I can do a reverse of this and say, verify that, okay, as a human, if I would have done that, what would have been my criteria? Okay. I can do that. You can then you can try that, okay, imagine that you are a delivery head, or imagine that you are a program head. Now you analyze this and tell me what is your perspective. Okay. So that is basically how you are now reversing the role of the LLM by itself. Is it clear? Got it? Everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Let me now go and show you another prompt. Now this is a okay. Now this is a prompt where I am saying, okay, this is in a short prompting. Okay. Okay, let me show you this prompt. Okay, this is again reverse prompting, what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that I am going to give it a particular content piece. Okay. And I want it to analyze that particular content piece, identify the attributes of that content, and apply that to another piece of content. Okay. So basically what I am doing is I am reverse engineering. I am doing a reverse engineering on the content, on this particular content, identifying what the attributes of this content are, and then I am taking those attributes and applying it on a different content, different set of content. Okay. So let me try doing that here. Okay. So I'm saying act like a business content writer, generate a business case scenario for a manufacturing. This is okay. So I have generated this. Then now I am taking this content. Okay. So you will use the example content as a reference for the case scenario. You will follow the structure and style and the language of this particular. And I am giving it the case scenario of a manufacturing company. But the example what I am giving is from a banking IT company with a banking clients. Okay. So I am taking two different industry domains. I am doing a identifying the attributes for this particular case study and applying it to a different domain case study by itself. Okay. And where do you use it? Generally, we will have this when in a RFP, you will be submitting multiple case studies, right? And then you will find that each case study has got its own structure, own style, tone, diction. And you will get the case study at the last moment from the delivery guy, and he will say that this is a case study, you can use this case study, or you can use this case study. Now, this approach you can take there, where you see that you define one case study, structure, style, diction, as that this is the standard what we are going to use. And then you rephrase or paraphrase or basically apply that style and structure to the all other case studies, and you bring them all in a uniform in a uniform standard, or rather in a uniform format, that not only in the format but also in the style, the tone, the diction, the structure, everything in that. Okay. Now now it has generated a business case scenario for a manufacturing company, but it has actually used the content provided here from the problem of the loss and banking clients as the reference, identified that and applied this here. Okay. One thing what more you can do here is, I will just edit this prompt. You will explain, you will list the changes, or you list the what do you call, maybe list the changes, or you will explain the approach to analyze the example content and the attributes you identified to create the new content. You identified and applied to create the new content. Now you will get the explanation of what it has actually done. So what it do, it analyze it, its structure, headings, tone, focus on the level, and then it created it again following the same structure. It has followed it. Okay. I emphasize the measure result, lost customer. So basically now you know that what was there in the first content, which is there in the first content, what is the style, structure, discussion, style, tone, diction and the first content, and then how it has been applied in the, how the new content has been generated by applying this. Okay. Is this clear? This is very useful when you have got responses for a same section or a type of document. An example I gave you is the case studies, where you, and even for resumes. Even for resumes, you can standardize all the resumes by using this approach. Is it clear? How you can apply this in a case of resumes, in case of case studies? There's a practical application you can see.
So, in this case, can we format one CV, for example, and then upload rest content and ask them to convert also?
Yes. That is exactly. That is what exactly you will do. You will format, you will select one CV, standard CV, say that this is the structure, style, tone I want to use, and please apply the same. So applying the same here to all the content, and it will generate all the CVs in the same content structure. That is actually the purpose.
In the same format also, like
Yes.
PowerPoint. The template which I will be sharing.
Yeah, it will it will, I don't think it will do the formatting. I have not tried doing that. Maybe you can try out and tell me if it do that. But yeah, the formatting, the structure and all those things, it will definitely do that. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know whether it will put it in the same Verdana font or make it bold or less. I don't know that. I have not used that. But yeah, if you want your focus on the content and the structure, yes, it does. Anyone else? Any thoughts? Where else you can use it? This has got a very for those who do all the copy paste jobs. For them, it is very helpful. Okay. Let me go to the next one. Okay, let me go to the next prompt category pattern. What is it? Okay. Let me complete one at least pattern today. Okay, the remaining prompts again are example prompts. Okay, so you can see this. This is so very simple. The end shot prompting. End shot prompting I explained, right? The first, the initial, the basic prompts we write are the zero shot prompting, where you are not end shot prompting, zero shot prompting, or few shot promptings are examples of prompt contextualization also, where with the prompt we provide the sample also, we provide the example also. If you are not providing any example and you're telling the LLM to use its own experience and its own context and create the prompt, create the content, that is known as zero shot prompting. Few shot prompting is where you provide, or end shot prompting or few shot prompting is where you provide some content examples to it, and then based on that, those content examples, it creates the new content. Okay, so it is basically, in a way, you are guiding the model with some examples. Okay, so that is one point. You can try this prompt out. Oh, here it is, the reverse instruction point. So, but you can try this prompt also, the reverse engineering prompt. This is an example of the prompt which I showed you, one of the examples. Okay. Demo prompt. Okay. This chain of thought prompts and other things, I will take it tomorrow. I will take it because these are very important prompts, structural prompts. Basically, the chain of the problem solving prompts, the chain of thought, tree of thought. I'll go step by step and explain you, because when you go into agentic AI, when you start thinking about agentic AI or build agentic problems, this is actually these are prompts which are mostly related to the reasoning prompts. Okay, these are most related to the prompt AI. When you are making AI do the reasoning part of it, till now we were doing, of course there was a reasoning involved, everywhere there is a reasoning involved, but it was more of content generation prompts. These are more like reasoning prompts, analysis and reasoning prompts. So I will take that up tomorrow. Okay, and then we can understand. Anything else I wanted to show you? No, tree of thought I will take tomorrow. React I will take tomorrow. Proposal develop. Okay, this is a part of the React only. User prompt. Yeah, this is a user prompt. I think prompt chaining also we can take tomorrow. From decomposition. Okay. I think we will cover the remaining prompt structures. We will cover tomorrow. Though we are pretty good on that. We will do that. But today's prompts. What? Any questions? Any thoughts? What you have in the prompts which we have today? We discussed today. Any thoughts we guys have? Or where which areas do you think we can apply? You can apply these prompts.
Yeah, well, to build initial understanding and research, and to contextualize what we have as RFP, that is something I can use it. Though I don't have, we don't have any Copilot internally, so I'll use ChatGPT separately, and then maybe can't use an RFP document to build it, but to get the industry contextualization and alignment around it, I think this is very useful. Plus the company information that we can put, and the persona based information that we can use. I think that will be really handy for me for my discussions with senior leadership also.
Good.
I think persona base is the most interesting one, because sometimes I've seen that in RFP, a lot of our solution architects, right, when they kind of, because solution architects are focused on what's the ask, how it has to be delivered and everything. Some of this integrity is about the person. Means obviously they ask these questions to the sales guys who might not know the end stakeholder to that extent, right? So if we kind of provide this kind of an analysis, right, that these are the areas which is looking into. So his response is whenever he's also using some kind of models, right? Some kind of chat GPT support somewhere in his entire solution architecture in some way or form, right? We all know that they are also using, at least and I am aware that they are using. So those aspects which we provided can also go in their kind of response, right? And it becomes more hyper contextualized, right? And in a way, some of the response elements, right? Once someone is reading or someone is kind of evaluating from the other end, right? Might hit a chord, right?
Definitely, Samir. The biggest thing is that you are getting different perspectives of writing. Okay, you are not limited to only one thought which you know or we know about. You are getting different perspectives, because today when I see the people working in the industry and people I see in the industry, maximum people are their thing is that, okay, how do I respond to this question? Okay, it is the response to the question is fine, but if that response does not excite that reader or help that reader to make a decision in your favor, then your response is meaningless, right? How do you get that done? Yes, Shreyasi, you have anything to share?
No, Vijit.
Hello, Abhijit sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, hello, sir. This is regarding the last prompt you showed, that is about creating the response uniform. Like you said, we can make all the CVs in the same format. So I think one place where it can come handy is when we are dealing with some large bids, where we are interacting with multiple OEMs whose solution we are taking, and they are sending all their proposals to us, and we have to incorporate all of them
Yes,
in our
yes.
technical proposal.
Every proposal is a different story.
Yes, it is a different written. Some of them are written in like a brochure kind of a format. Some of them are very detailed. So it will help us to create our response uniform.
Yes.
So most of the times we don't have time for this activity because all of the last moment changing of OEMs and all the documents. So this will be tremendously helpful in this process.
Exactly. Yes. That's right. When you get, and even in a organization, if you're dealing on a, say, a multi-tower deal, and your content is coming from multiple practices, each practice will be having its own style and tone and way of writing it, right? It's very difficult to find a very standard or uniform format across the organization.
Right.
So this can be good use of this. This is exactly how you actually have to think and find out the use case. When you find out that use case, and then it may not work in the very first go, but then you have to. But you will see some result. The good thing with generative AI is that you will see a result. Okay, and then you know that, okay, this is the result, but I need to improvise it, I need to improve it. As I said, never believe that the first prompt answer which you are going to get is the right answer. You will never get the right answer. Believe that, go with the assumption that you will never get the right answer in the first. Go on tuning it, fine tuning it, the incremental iterative thing. And those who are using Copilot, break it down into prompts and move with it.
Yeah, Abhijit, just one question I had. So on the RFP, sometimes we usually need to use that architecture diagrams that client has shared into our proposal decks. So we need to recreate those images. So can Copilot also recreate
No. The image side is not that good. Not that. There are some plugins. There are some plugins, not within the LLM. The architect. If you're talking about the Visio style diagrams, right? So Visio style diagrams I have not really seen. But yes, there are some plugins. I think there's something called Smart Draw. There is a plugin called Smart Draw with ChatGPT, which actually use. But yeah, you have to do a little research and find out. But Sora or DALI does not create those side of architecture images. But yeah, one thing it can do is that you can provide it that image, it can actually read that image and analyze that image and give you the understanding of its understanding of the image. And I have tried doing it
Okay.
with quite a different enterprise architecture diagrams. Even I have tried it with some of the UML diagrams. I just wanted to test it with a UML diagram, like I gave it a class diagram and then I gave it a sequence diagram, and I asked it like, okay, analyze it and tell me what are the classes or what are the base classes here, and it did it. It did it,
Oh,
and it did
okay.
it pretty good.
Okay.
Okay, so
Nice.
but
Yeah.
the other side, when I tell it to okay, create an enterprise architecture diagram, I didn't get that. It created,
Okay.
but it was more like a
Mhm.
visual image rather than a technical illustration.
Okay.
It is
Okay.
not doing illustrations to use the right
Hmm.
word.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Abhijit. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
See, for example, in some proposals, there are for my organization, 2 to 3 people work on the same proposal, right? Not it is not handled by a single person. There are 2 to 3 people working. Now, it's like we have distributed that this section will be done by A, this by B. Suppose there are 2 people. Now, both have a different style of writing. Or in fact, a different style of doing chat GPT as well. Right. Now, is there any way like both? So output will be different for both, right? Is there any way like it can be standardized and brought onto a same style?
Yes, there is a way. That is what we call as system prompting. Okay, so you don't you set those parameters at the system level. Okay, and you say that ki, okay, we will be doing this as there are 2 ways. One way is that you set it in a system prompt, that this is how you will generate your content, and this is how you will do that content. So you do it at a system prompt level. Okay, the second way is basically somebody will be stitching the proposal. Okay, that is putting all the content together as a proposal. Once you create your final proposal, then you will ask it to do work like a proposal editor, do a proofreading, and there you give it all the instructions that maintain the coherency, maintain the consistency, maintain the same, like how a editor edits, like a newspaper editor. When a newspaper editor says there are so many in a newspaper, there are so many journalists reporting so many different types of news items, right? And then each news item has got its own way, like a news item on a accident and a news item on a political event, or a news item on a or a news article. Each will have its own style and tone, right? But what the editor does is basically the editor, and that is why he is called the editor. So he brings everything into a consistent and coherent format. He maintains the coherency and the consistency. Okay. Now you can actually create a persona of a, I will tell you, Ankur, there's the best way. Use this. Create a persona of a proposal editor, and every content pass through that particular with that persona. He will give you the right, he will give everything in a uniform content.
Okay.
Okay.
Done.
Anyone else? Any questions before we go leave for today?
Yeah, if you can just, I think the assignment which you're going to talk about, right? It's a very
Yeah. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay. So you can look at the assignment, start looking at the assignment from today. I will give you time till maybe Sunday to complete this. So, and this is going to be all the prompt patterns which we have discussed till now. Okay, till tomorrow. Okay, so what we are going to do is basically we are going to optimize the bid and proposal process. Okay, so there is this is a context. that you are a proposal operations consultant for this company, and you have an executive mandate that you have to use GenAI to transform your entire bid and proposal process, and your goal is to increase the productivity efficiency, reduce the RFP response cycle time, and improve the proposal quantity. And the business goal outcome is actually 40% within 12 months. Okay. Now, your deliverable is a strategic report for the executive management with actionable recommendations supported by GenAI implementation strategies using advanced prompt engineering techniques. That is basically what you are learning, the prompt patterns. Okay. So, how will you do that? How will you go about it? There are 4 parts of it. Okay. Now, first part is basically you have to do a process analysis and task identification. Like, what are the processes in the entire pursuit life cycle, and what are the tasks involved here? Okay, then within that particular process, a major phase, you have to identify at least 3 or 4 key tasks, describe the task, identify the primary and the secondary roles who are involved in the task, define the expected outcomes, outputs and deliverables from that particular task, establish the quality metrics. How are you going to measure that task, the output of that quality, define the optimum completion time frame, what is the average time you will take. Okay, now like the phases which you will have to cover is basically phase 1 is your opportunity identification, assessment and qualification. Phase 2 is strategic planning to win, and phase 3 is solution development, value proposition messaging. 4 is proposal development and review. 5th is proposal delivery and lesson learned. And this is the evaluation criteria, whether you have identified the right task, what are the accuracy of your role assignment and your responsibility, and the relevance of the quality metrics. How are you measuring it? Okay. Then second part B is the state analysis, the current state analysis. Like, what is the constraint right now, or how is that particular task being performed? What are the constraints and the challenges in that? So the pain points, what is the reason of that problem? What is the business impact because of that problem? What is happening? What is the preliminary solution? Okay, and this is a non-AI. This is not a technical solution I'm asking. And then you identify that, and then the next step is there a AI? Can AI solve this problem? So GenAI solution design and prompt engineering. Okay, can you all the tasks which you have identified, which were non-AI tasks, and then you can identify, can this be, how GenAI can help this into doing this. Okay, so you have built a strategic solution architecture, and then you will see that which prompt patterns apply there. Now there you will be using whether you are going to use TOCD for this task, or you are going to use RTO, you are going to use reversal pattern, structure pattern, problem solving pattern, risk mitigation pattern. Which pattern will be you be using for that one specific task? Okay, you don't have to do it for the end to end. If you can do it end to end, happy to look at it. But at least you do it for 2 to 3 tasks for each phase. Okay, because when you do that, you will actually know how to apply that in your work. Okay, this will be a reinforcement of what you have learned plus what you can do with it. Okay, now and after that is basically your final deliverable, which is basically executive, the report, basically your executive summary and the strategic recommendation. So you will have a strategic business. So you so you will be playing a couple of roles here. One role you are playing is as of a BA. Now, because this is a domain, you belong to this domain, so you don't need to say that, okay, I don't know about the business domain. This is your domain. You are applying it in proposal management. Technical prompt engineering, you have learned how to do the prompt engineering, and then putting this all together into a document with an executive summary and gives you an understanding of this. So how is it going to help you? It is going to help you in your conceptual understanding of all the prompt pattern theory and application, whatever we have discussed. It will evaluate your practical skills, that are you able to write the prompt and use it for real business case scenarios. Okay, and of course your professional judgment, and obviously how you can put all this together as one single solution. So when you do this, actually this will be your prompt framework for a particular task. Okay, so you will be using your prompt patterns and their templates to build the prompt framework. So this is your task going to be. Read it in detail. If you have any questions, ask back to me. But those who complete this particular thing, this particular assignment, not for all the tasks, even for 2-3 tasks per phase, I can guarantee that they will be able to take it to the next level of using AI agents and building AI agents. And the reason why we are giving you this assignment is that because you will be prepared for that. Even when we talk about AI agents and agentic frameworks, you will be prepared for that level. Okay, you will be knowing that okay, this is what I can do with the AI agent, this is what I cannot do with the AI agent. Okay, and that part. So because obviously we are not going to spend time in preparing you for that analysis and architecture, solution architecture part. What we will be talking about is more about the technology part of it, but this is something which you require before you get there. Okay, so attempt doing this. You don't have to nobody is going to judge you on this. There is a score over there, but yeah, nobody is going to judge you on this. But you will have to when you do this, you will realize what else you need to do. Okay, and we will always be there to help you with that. Okay, but you have to take the initiative from your side. Got it, everyone? What needs to be done?
Yes. Got it.
Yes. Yes.
Fine. Read it. If you have any questions, we will take it separately. Okay. Okay then. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
And
Thank
as I
you.
said, this will extend up to Saturday. So be okay.
Sure.
Thank you,
Thank
Dada.
you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Bye.
Everyone, bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.